Welcome back, everyone, to our next episode of Cats Chat or Cats Chat Pod on all social medias. We thank you all so much for joining us live on this episode. And of course, we are on podcasts. Hopefully, you'll be listening to this a little bit later date, but go subscribe. We are on Spotify. We're waiting for the Apple podcast to pull up where it approves everything. We'll be on Apple Pod just in a little few days, we'll say. But of course, real quick on everything. Oh, I apologize. I don't have the scroll thing. Follow us on all the social medias. Everything is pretty much at Cats Chat Pod on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even X, not Twitter, but X as well. Also, as you can see underneath my name there, we are on Linktree now. You can go to our Linktree / Cats Chat Pod and find all of our social medias links on that. So with that all thrown out there very quickly, very fast, Mark, my uglier brother, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. First day back to school. It's been
killer for me.
Well, I'm not going to lie. It's your first day back after summer break. It's going to be a different change of pace this year with our schedule changes and everything, but I think it's going to be a fun year. I look forward to it. It's just getting used to waking up real early again.
Today is our kids are in the county as well, as you know. It was nice because I was off today from my retail job and was able to take them to school, and it was a lot of fun. Parent traffic to go around schools, not a very big fan of. Like, I understand some of these sitcoms videos that talk about like the parent pickup lane and the cone stuff. Makes a little more sense to me now after today. But my wife said, "Hey, are you going to help me pick the kids up since you're off today?" I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to make that one. Because
you passed on that one, right?
Well, I mean, school gets out at like 2:30, 2:45. I'll pass by the school because I was in town doing some different things. Got a fresh haircut today. Thank you, Bushwhackers, by the way. Shout out to you. And at like 1 o'clock, they were already lining up around the school. And I'm like,
it's crazy. It's so they can beat the rush. Yeah.
But you're in the rush. Like, the rush is going through it, but you're going to sit there and wait for it. Anyways, it's a long story. We can go on that for hours. Mark, so far, this is episode 4 for Cats Chat. We've had Jeff Shepard on the very second episode. We had Coach Vince Morrow on our third episode. And of course, we have another special guest that it's hard to follow that up, but we're so thankful to have him on here and up to that caliber to me. Let's go ahead and let you introduce him as we bring him on.
This young man, he's went to Harlan County High School the last 4 years. This is I guess this is his 4th year. He's a senior, averaged 26.5 points last year, like 12.8 rebounds for the basketball team. And I just thought with us going back to school, it'd be awesome to bring Mr. Trent Noah on with us just to talk a little bit about the recruiting process. So Trent, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you all. I appreciate y'all having me.
I tell you what, I was glad you agreed to hop on with us. I was afraid you'd be like, man, I don't want to see a teacher outside of school.
No, I'm super excited.
Good, awesome. Thank you again for joining on here. Sorry that my brother's a loser like that, like a teacher and everything, but it is what it is. I'm the better looking brother. It is, it's hard to deal with that. But Trent, thank you so much for coming on. And what we really want to talk to you about is kind of your senior year. How's it going? What's caused your love for basketball growing up? I talked to you earlier before we came on here about your AAU as grade school and stuff like that. How the recruiting class is going on. We just kind of want to pick your brain and see how it's going because, me and Mark, the only thing we got recruited about was like McDonald's to go eat there. So it happens. So if you want to kind of, we do have different followers from all over. Most are around this area, Harlan County, Eastern Kentucky. But, some people may be out Western Kentucky. Just maybe give a little background, who you are, where you're going, and what's going on in your life if you don't care.
Yeah, I'm Trent Noah. I'm a senior at Harlan County High School. I've played basketball there since 8th grade. I'm looking forward to this high school season and just seeing what happens with that and see what goes on with my college career.
Awesome. And of course, right now you've had multiple offers for D1 schools, every location all across basically Eastern, I guess, east of I-75, basically. We're up to 24 D1 offers now. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Give or take, or 1 or 2. I mean,
it's even went west of what you're saying, Michael. He's had offers from Cal, Stanford.
Okay.
Several big name schools out that way too. That's a long way to travel, though.
Do you care to name some of those just so we can hear some? I know like on Facebook every other day is Noah has another offer. I'm like, which offer are we at right now? But
Yeah, Cal and Stanford. Those are two. Well, I guess it's not the Pac-12 anymore, but they're out west with all that stuff going on in that conference. But St. Louis, schools like that.
Okay, all right. One thing I want to ask, and I'm not going to ask as far as like where you lean into or anything of that, because that's for you to release whenever you want to. But what's been the most fun school to go to as far as visits or whatnot, or being a recruit? Like oh wow, this is really cool. Like I like what they did. What goes on in the recruiting?
Yeah, I've taken three official visits. I've been to Loyola Chicago, Richmond, and Seton Hall. I've enjoyed them all. Like all three of them are really cool. At Seton Hall, the head coach is Coach Holloway. He was the coach with St. Peter's when they beat Kentucky and made the run. So like
Okay.
it's kind of cool, like sitting at dinner with him talking, and it's just like seeing him on TV before like my recruiting was even going on, and like that's the guy who did that. So I think stuff like that is really cool. Like Coach Matta from Butler, he was whenever he was at Ohio State whenever they were the 1 seed, and they played Kentucky. So like stuff like that, I think that's really cool from where I was young, and I've always followed basketball. So it's super cool for sure.
I don't think people realize the dedication like kids like you put into basketball. About anytime I'm in the school, I've seen you in there putting up shots, working out, doing stuff. Like, is your daily routine like just that's all it is, basketball?
I mean, it kind of has to be, honestly. I kind of have a good balance to it, like not too much, but I still get it in. I feel like, but I love it. I mean, it's definitely a grind, but I mean, if you don't love it, then you just won't make it at the college level. So thankfully, I have a major love for the game.
And of course, this summer you actually did a summer camp yourself that you basically orchestrated, led, and everything with that. Thank you for just giving back the talent, the knowledge that you have on that. But can you talk about some of your AAU experiences too, and just like wow moments that you're like, hey, you met this player or this guy signed here that I'm going up against?
Yeah, my experience with Midwest has been awesome. Last year, or my 16U year, we played. I played alongside like Reed, Gabe Cupps, committed to Indiana, Rayvon Griffith. He's at Cincinnati. So like guys like that, playing with them, and then see them at the college level succeed. It's just really cool, and especially matching up with people like highly rated in the nation. Like it's cool to like see where you stand whenever it comes along like that. So yeah, it's super awesome.
You was about to ask something, Mark, and I kind of beat you to
No.
it.
I was just listening.
Okay. With that being said, you hear all the time as far as because we're Appalachia, we don't really get to hear a lot of people going through a recruiting path. But the Last Chance Use, the videos of these scouts and stuff on Netflix and stuff, they actually talk like it's more AAU than it is even the high school season. Have you noticed that with your pathway of going through? Like, I've got to make these AAU games so people can see me, or do you see a lot of scouts at some of these high school games that you go to that you're participating in as well?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it varies. Like the Adidas circuit, they definitely like at every game the baseline's gonna be packed with coaches, and it really just gives you like a platform to perform. But at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of scouts and college coaches at like big high school tournaments, and then like the ones that like are recruiting you specifically, like they'll come out to high school games and watch. But I feel like it's a good mix of both, and it's fun playing with both sets of players, like your boys from high school, like you grew up with them, like those are your guys. And then it's also fun playing with new people you meet every single year. That's like top of the line talent as well. So yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it both.
It amazes me how the scope of high school basketball changed over the years. Like you don't remember seeing the AAU circuit back like when I was in high school, and just how much the AAU circuit has grown. Like you played games all over, right? You traveled pretty much all over the country to play.
Yeah, it's definitely changed, especially over the past 5 or 10 years or so, it's definitely ramped up, and it's really a must for if you're trying to be a college athlete. It's super super hard to do if you're not on an AAU circuit.
Let's see here. Trying to think of a question. I had it and I lost it there. What's been your biggest high school atmosphere that you've been in? Of course, we're in 13th region, and during different tournaments that you all have, what's been that one, hey, wow, we're playing here, this is kind of big moment for us?
Yeah, that one's super tough. I would say ultimately, I would say my 8th grade year in the regional finals. That was crazy. Like being in 8th grade, I remember it was just packed, and that was the last game before COVID too. So like it was the last real atmosphere for a while. But yeah, at the arena, it was packed. It was so loud. But last year at Harlan, Harlan Independent, that was a crazy atmosphere too. It's smaller gym, people packed on top of each other, people sitting on the sideline. That was really cool too. It was honestly probably louder in there than it was at the arena because it's so small and compact. But those two were super fun to play in.
It was very hot too. I remember that.
It was.
It's kind of neat, from my perspective, because I've kind of got to watch you grow up on the basketball court. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's, you came up as an 8th grader, and that's about the time I started doing radio for the game. So it's kind of, or doing the announcing at the gym. And it's just been kind of neat to watch your game develop, along with Maddox, your cousin, who I've been able to watch him kind of grow in the same aspect. And, there's a lot of big expectations this year. Wouldn't you say, for the team?
For sure. We're definitely, there's some high expectations out there. And I mean, that's what we want. Like we got to come through. We're picked to win the region. In some polls, we're top 10 in the state. So, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome that people believe in us to win and are picking us to win. But now it's time to come through and get us one.
Yeah, and that's when you have that expectation there. Not only does it kind of drive you better, but it also kind of puts a target on your back, right? Mm-hmm. You got teams they get hyped when they play against you.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So that's definitely no matter who you're playing, no matter what the rankings say, you got to come in with the same mentality as you're playing the number one team in the region. So that'll be good for us, especially having that same mentality every game.
Now, of course, it's your senior year. Do you feel like this year has more pressure to be able to play better or to produce more?
I mean, I think there's more pressure to win for sure. I mean, it's my last go around. So like if we don't get one this year, then I'll never get one. So it was super close my 8th grade year. I don't want to have that feeling again. So I think it's definitely time.
Okay, Matt, bring in a good question, Mark. I was going to wait until we got to it, but that works too. His comment here is, when do you plan to cut your list down maybe to 10 or 8 schools you're focused on?
Yeah, probably in the next month or so. My goal is to definitely commit before the high school season. So to have my list cut down, it'll be out rather sooner than later. 2 or 3 weeks down the line, once I have all my official visits planned.
But what you guys really don't know, Matt, is behind those curtains, he's already got the choice, and he's going to open it. No, I'm playing. What team do you think this year, and we'll just kind of, and I know we're Kentucky, but, we like to keep it local as well. We're a family. Obviously, me and Mark are brothers here. I want to talk to you a little bit just about the high school season as well. Like, who you think is going to be your hardest competition moving into this season, going into region tournament, district tournament, and everything?
Yeah, I feel like there's a handful of teams that'll be in the mix. I think North, Clay, Corbin, they're all very well coached. South is well coached as well. Mm-hmm. And I think any of them. I think there's a lot of teams this year that could win the region. So we definitely got to come out with the same mentality and get us one this year, because it'll be tough. It'll be tough.
It should be a fun season for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know it is.
Yeah, the region is loaded this year for sure. So I think 1 through about 6 could win it on any given night.
I like
You talk about family, Matt. Just posted Michael and Kyle going head to head against each other, the Jones brothers. So.
Jones Brothers. That sounds like it's an outlaw gang or something. The James gang and the Jones Brothers here. Let's see here. Can you talk about? I know we kind of bouncing around here a little bit, but going back to recruiting just a little bit. Is it? Tell us what we don't know. I guess is why I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to figure out how I can ask this because we just hear. I think back of. I think it was. Unnecessary Roughness is the movie back in the 90s where the kid gets off of the football bus to go in to see everyone and like the cheerleaders are out, the band's going crazy. He's like, man, this is awesome. He goes signs with Southern Cal, and then like when the season starts, he gets off that same bus and like there's no one there. It's like, okay, it's reality. Like, tell me what really goes on when these people are recruiting you. That what you can tell me, of course. And you said that you made a few visits. Like, is it all about you? Do they get you in those jerseys that we see on Instagram? It's got to be fun, right? Or is it more demanding and tough to do?
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Like I've built some really, really good relationships with assistant coaches, head coaches, and lifelong relationships too, even with the schools that I won't be committing to. Like I've built such strong relationships, talking to them every day and seeing them at my games, talking to them after games. And it's super awesome building relationships in the basketball world. And the visits are super fun as well. Like it's awesome bonding with the staff face to face. You get 48 hours hanging out with the players, participating in like pickup and like workouts. That's super cool too at the college level. So yeah, it's an awesome process, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it.
Awesome. Mark, you got any questions?
No, I'm good.
All right. Trent, thank you for joining us. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this on up a little bit here. If you want to stay with us, because we're going to kind of talk a little bit of basketball stuff here, like we were talking about earlier, you're more than welcome to stay. A little bit of football too. Just kind of shoot the breeze here if you want to just hang out with us. But if you got stuff to do, we understand.
Yeah, I appreciate. Before y'all start that, I appreciate y'all having me and letting me on. It was awesome. It was awesome talking and chopping it up with y'all.
Awesome. We appreciate it, man. Before you go, if you wouldn't care, any advice that you can give young kids that may be watching this about how they could be dedicated as much as you are to basketball and what they need to work on?
Yeah, just always keep working. Just because the area that we're from, it's very possible. It's very possible to make it, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't. That's the big piece of advice because you can. You just got to keep working. Don't listen to any outside noise and just always stay working.
That sounds good. Actually, I want to ask you one more question with that. Do you think social media does help a lot more in that as far as being recruited now or being seen more? Because you said, in our mountains here, it is hard to get some scouts into this area. But do you think social media platforms, I know some of the games I went to, I was talking to Mark about this. There's a guy, I don't even know who he is, but like he has a highlight reel of you. And then there's some of Reed that I've seen. Like, does some of these people that not knowing it, just sharing the stuff, does that help?
I think he's talking about Caleb shot that. I think it's
something shot that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think social media definitely does help. Especially whenever they started streaming the games, like whenever COVID hit and it was all like everything's being streamed now. So like they still do want to come out to games, but like whenever they're on the road on like road trips, they can just pop it up in their hotel room. The coaching staff can just pull it up and watch it right there without having to travel all the way to Harlan. So I think in many aspects, it's definitely helped a ton.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, Trent, we do appreciate you, man. Whenever you get ready to, cut your list down or make a commitment, you can come back on this show and we'll have it, behind your curtains there, open it up.
We let your dad pop out. I'd like to see Donnie pop out and just rip open his shirt.
Yeah, pull off, open the shirt and just let it go.
There we go. Yeah. Sounds good. All right, man. Appreciate you joining the show again. Thank you so much.
Right,
good luck to you this morning.
All right, appreciate it.
Such a nice young man, Mr. Trent Noah. I tell you, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have him on our show. Is just a lot of people, they just know him from the basketball side of things. He's just a good kid, man. He's always been a good kid. One of the kids, freshman year during COVID, he'd still come in with his dad and let me help him with school. Just always very respectful, and his game speaks for itself. And that's, I mean, I would love to see that young man play at UK. Like he said, recruiting's kind of winding down, but I'm going to support him no matter where he goes.
Oh, yeah. I think it's great to have someone in here locally like that we can hopefully on our platform be able to have more exposed to just the social media on Facebook and everything like that. Some of our videos been getting up to one video over 1,000, and some of these people in Kentucky that are watching us that doesn't know who he is from Harlan County, Kentucky. That I think it's great just to. I think back when I was in high school in the early 2000s, like there were some players around here then that had the talent but didn't get exposed anyway. So kudos to him. Glad that he's got the opportunity. And one thing that we talked about before we came on the show, at fifth grade, I remember him playing and practicing throughout the summer the whole time. And like those kids in that AAU that I got to watch, they were more dedicated to the basketball game in fourth and fifth grade than our high school team were and some of our players. And I'm not dogging our high school team. It's just the focus that they had. Like they were there for a reason. And now to see him his senior year, 7, 8, 9 years later, that like what he's been doing as a kid is paying off for him now. Like, this is the whole purpose.
It's sometimes you don't see the behind the scenes. You know what I mean? With a lot of these young people, you see them on the court, you see their game, and you're like, all right, man, they're really, good ball player. But like, I've been in the gym at different times just talking to Trent's dad and seen him put up 200 shots just in the 5 minutes I'm, talking to his dad and like seeing the work that they put in. His cousin Maddox is another one that I see in the gym just grinding all the time. And these young men that are always coming to the gym and grinding, they're the ones, I mean, that's when your team really starts to shine and you get everybody to buy into that, the team, and they play very unselfish basketball. That's what I've always loved about them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's good to see 13th region, anything being up there in the rankings in the state. It's great to see Harlan County, even Harlan City or Harlan Independent had a great team last year just to see what all happened with them as well. There's talent here in the mountains, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We just got to get them exposed, man. And it's so good to see that social media, even what you do with the radio, talking on that, that's being able to get some of these games out there, some of their stats, everything. So thank you, everyone that does all that.
And that's one of the things I've enjoyed the most is just being able to expose these kids. Like if you're on the radio, I mean, a lot of people, you can hear what's going on in the game, but being able to actually see it on those live streams at home games. I mean, of course, we'd love to be able to stream every game, even the away games. But the thing is it makes it harder when you go to away games because you don't know the Wi-Fi situation at places.
Right.
But I think having those games and like he said, coaches can go back and watch them at any time because they're saved and they're on YouTube or wherever. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I even, he mentioned too the Harlan Independent, Harlan County game at Harlan Independent. That's kind of hard to say for the people watching that. Sorry. But my youngest daughter was on the dance team and they did that between the games. So we were there and yes, it was super hot having a kindergarten and 2 first graders. We left at halftime of the boys game and I came straight home and it was on YouTube. So I was able to continue to watch the game on YouTube because of that. So, that's awesome that we're able to do that too. But let's go ahead and move on over to some Kentucky stuff, some Cats chat here now. And Mark, I've seen something, and I hope I don't get blasted for my feelings on this. But let me, as I'm kind of bringing this in, I don't know if you've seen it. I think I shared it with you. I can't remember. But there was a top 10 list that was on social media. I can't remember which one it was, but I looked it up, and I think I might have shared the wrong screen. Let me see here. Bear with me. Yes, I did.
You're fine.
I know that.
Yeah, I think you shared this picture with me.
Okay. I am kind of upset with this, just to believe it or not.
Are you talking about because Kentucky fell so far down the list?
Well, I don't know. That's why I kind of want to bring this up. I want to discuss it with you and really see what your take is. Maybe you'll change some of my thoughts on this, but there was a post, I think it's on Fox CFB on this, and it has the most dominant college football, college basketball program since 2013. And, of course, that's a year right after Kentucky won in the NCAA basketball tournament. It's the year that we went to the NIT, But just for the people on podcasts, I will read these out loud just so you can hear who is on this list. At number 10, Cincinnati. They have had a wonderful football seasons the past few years. Basketball's been good, decent. Number 9, your Kentucky Wildcats. 8, Oklahoma. 7, Wisconsin. 6, San Diego State. At 5 is Michigan. 4, Michigan State. 3, Alabama. 2, Oregon. And number 1, Ohio State. So with that being read, Mark, what do you think on this list?
I mean, I agree that all those schools have, in the history since 2013 have had pretty good college football, college basketball programs. I don't think I'd have Ohio State at the top of the list. While Ohio State did have a run with several good years of basketball, they've kind of been non-existent since, as far as in the hunt and getting national exposure talked about. Their football program, it seems like it's always good. They've always got a good football program. Seems like they're always in the hunt. They always produce a lot of prospects. So definitely they're more football heavy, Man, I don't know. Alabama, I do have to agree with. Everybody knows their football, but their basketball team in the last several years, they've been getting some talent in that school. And they definitely – I would almost put Alabama at the top of that list. I mean, maybe I'm SEC biased.
Let's just be honest. When Ohio State plays an SEC team that's evenly ranked, not way lower than Ohio State's ranked, they lose. So I always have felt that Ohio State in football is ranked way too high every year, and they always blow it during the playoffs time. And their basketball team, last time I can really remember them being very relevant was when Jorts and that guy went up. Sullivan, who was it?
Jared Sullivan. Yeah.
Sullivan, yeah. And since
Sullinger.
And since then, they've been okay, but nothing ranked 1, ranked 2, top 5 or anything. So I don't think Ohio State should be number 1. I'm okay with you with what you say on Alabama because the way their basketball program, they've been very well here lately. Sometimes ranked higher in Kentucky repetitively. So, yeah, I think Alabama should be deserving number 1 here.
I think a team I feel like should be on the list, and I hate to even say it, being a Kentucky fan, North Carolina.
Don't you say, oh, sure, I thought you were going to say Tennessee. North Carolina.
I mean, honestly, you could put Tennessee on this list too. I mean, because North Carolina, they had a run there where their football team was playing a lot better. They were nationally ranked for a while, and they, now their basketball team, they've hit some bumps just like Kentucky did. But Tennessee, their football program's really on the rebuild, and the basketball team, Rick Barnes has done good things with the basketball team. So, I mean, you could actually put them on the list.
That's why I don't think they're on the list, though. It's because their football's in rebuild, which they're rebuilt. They've had some down years. Even Kentucky's been better in their football for a few years. Yes, they always still beat us. It's a big brother thing. So that's why I'm hesitant on Tennessee. I think they're top 15, though. They're close to that list. But Tennessee, with even some of the scandalous things going on with them McDonald's bags having some money in it, that's why I don't think they're on there. But why is Wisconsin and San Diego on this list? Am I just not seeing this? Like San Diego State, they usually have a decent football team, but not.
It seems like their basketball team always has some kind of little run in the tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. I think they're ranked 5th there for a couple of years, and then going into the tournament, I think they had like a 2 seed maybe or 3.
I've not heard much about their football team. I don't know. It's not a team I think of dominant when it comes to college football.
The last time
I can't believe which. Georgia can't be on the list just because the basketball team, like their football team has been dominant the last several years, but their basketball team has kind of fell off.
Yeah. They're relevant in the SEC, but that's about it. I'm surprised Auburn's not on here because Auburn has a decent football team year in, year out. And then, of course, within the 10 years, we've had Bruce Pearl, right? Yeah, Pearl, that's had them very well as far as being nationally ranked or nationally in the spotlight. So, I mean, even Auburn, of course, we might be SEC bias on this. And I'm going to ask you this. Do you think Oklahoma should be 8? I didn't even know they had a basketball team.
No, they've had several teams that were pretty good out in Oklahoma. If you remember, Blake Griffin played for Oklahoma. I remember when he played.
This is the past 10 years.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, I don't know that they should really be on there for the past 10 years. Maybe history, possibly, but like their basketball team, really, you haven't heard a lot about them in the past several years. So, But we also live in a generation where, I would have to actually pull up all the stats for all this and kind of look at the records and look at the teams, because I can't really speak. SEC is the area I watch. Right. I don't get to watch a lot of these other teams. So
I even think Iowa could be a team on here.
Yeah, they always are decent at basketball, and they usually have a pretty decent football team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I think it's cool that Kentucky, the relevance of football is jumping back up there. And that's, we talked to Coach Morrow about that last week, just how we went from having those seasons where you were just happy to beat a rival in one game to now you're expected, you better at least go 8-4. If anything less than 8-4 is a failure. So,
and yeah, I love that. And I'm going to ask you this. Do you think the football team is why we're ranked higher right now in the past 10 years?
Well, I mean, the basketball team has been exciting. We had a few down years, and I get that COVID, it almost like COVID was a punch in the gut that season. It was just like, it seemed like everything that could go wrong went wrong that year. We've had down years here and there, but, basketball, it's always something that Kentucky's been known for. Let's just be honest. And I mean, but you go all the way back to the days of Bear Bryant,
That's past the 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know, but I'm just saying.
I know. I was just saying
history there all the way back to a long time ago.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. You clicked my comment off.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Glad you could join in with us.
Is this one of the students? Is this trying to get some extra credit for you?
One of my students. That's Stan Mosley's son.
Hey, how we doing today, Mr. Mosley? But because personally, I feel like, and I'm not being judgmental towards Calipari or anything like that. I'm just really stating the obvious in my eyes. I feel like Kentucky's basketball team has underproduced or underperformed in the past few years. I do think the year of the COVID, when they ended that, we had a great shot or a great chance at a run in March Madness, and it just got cut. So that's fine. But, this is the NIT year. We've had even Tata Washington. I think he's a good player. He's in the NBA. He's still developing. I think not having a crowd kind of hurt him a little bit. I wish he would have stayed back, and I think that team would have been better the next year. But with all my heart, I think the football team is what carried us in this top 10 ranking for the past 10 years, because preseason in basketball, we're ranked well. But when it comes to the season, we've not done the best. And again, I know freshmen, new one and dones, if you will, portals transfer in and dones. Basically, if you miss on a player, you're going to have a bad year. I get that and understand that, and I accept that. But I'm thankful for the football team to be playing as well as they have, because if it weren't for how well the football team's been, I don't think we're in this top 10. And I guess that's where I was earlier saying I'm a little depressed on this, because our basketball team is going to be good. We know that year in, year out. But Kentucky football is really what's carrying us right now in dominance, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's like we've talked about in past episodes. Kentucky has several programs that have just been unbelievable. Even their baseball team's been playing a lot better. I mean, in every area, you've got so many different – we think of Kentucky, that's the first thing we jump to is basketball and football. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's automatic. Our women's basketball had a couple decent little runs there.
Even Ron Howard's number 1 pick overall in the WNBA.
Yeah. It's just I get what you're saying, but I just feel like, I look at these one and dones that we've talked about in the past, and, it's easy to sit here from our side of things and say, oh, man, if that kid would have stayed one more year. Mm-hmm. But when they're flashing this stuff at you, you know what I mean? Like, as a young man, and they're saying, hey, you can make money, come play, you're going to want to try to go. That's why I kind of like the whole NIL situation. It gives those players a chance to really say, okay, I can still make money while I'm in college, develop my game even more, and maybe go higher in the draft. Whereas, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and take a jump at it right now.
Yeah, and they have a chance to get their education now, or at least some education going, because that, Oscar, I think the reason he was able to come back last year was because he was projected of earnings of like $2 million and wasn't really projected being drafted last year. And so there was no guarantees. With the NIL, he had some guarantees that what he could get was, I think, for sure was like 90,000 that they're saying in the deal that was just waiting there. Of course, that's a lot less than the 2 million, but I'm just trying to state stuff that I do know. And then, he was, I think, had the less burden that he could come back because of that. And then I even think too, like Big Z that's coming now, who has played professional basketball basically. If it weren't for the NIL, I don't know if he would have been eligible. I even think back to Enes Kanter. If the NIL was in, we probably could have had him coming out in The Undertaker. That was like the greatest, I about said March Madness, Big Blue Madness that we had in a long time. His interest and everything, and then he never got to enter a game because he was a professional overseas basketball player. So, yeah, I think the NIL can be good things. Will it cause bad things? Everything does. So, I mean, we just got to take the good or the bad with the good and enjoy it, because it does open up different opportunities, I think.
Yeah, and I actually saw where Big Z's at. He actually signed the other day, actually.
Yes.
And I saw people saying they don't think he's going to play much, and I'm like, apparently you've not seen this kid. I'm really wondering, like, I think he's going to get some minutes.
I think just because of the raw talent that he has, he will carve out some minutes. I mean, if you've got a guy who can play the 5 and be quick like he is and be a threat from the 3-point line, how does he not get minutes? Like, I mean, he's got to go in for like the 3-point shooting lineup. I think back when we used to play NBA Live a lot, I'd always pick the Dallas Mavericks and put in a 3-point lineup and then move Michael Finley to power forward just to run your big man down. They've got to have that lineup where the Big Z is on it playing the center, like he's going to get minutes. That's given.
Yeah.
Now, how much? We got to see how well he can work.
I want to know what, like, our listeners think about this list. Like, what are your thoughts on it? Like, do you guys think this list is fairly accurate? Or are you kind of like us and think needs to be some movement?
Or who's missing? What team do you think is deserving? Like, who got snubbed on this list? By all means, yes, join the comments. It helps us talk. Trust me, sometimes Mark can't talk, believe it or not.
Wow, that's kind of hurtful.
Yeah, you're like your aunt, okay?
I'll get over it. Well, what else do we got on tap?
Okay, of course, we've got, let's see here, let me bring up my banner since I have it here. We've got our start bench cut that we need to come up with too. And of course, let me quit sharing this screen so I can go back and share the other one. I don't know if you've seen it posted on Facebook and Instagram today, but if you do not follow either one of those, please go on follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And that way you can see some of this stuff and give us some comments. So when we do come live, we can talk about it. And with that being said, on Cats Chat Pod on Instagram, I think it's pulling up now. Uh-oh. There we go. So we got Nerlens Noel, Oscar Sheboy, and Carl Anthony Towns. Start, bench, cut. And of course, actually on Instagram, I see someone did post on here, start Cat, bench Noel, and cut Oscar. And Mark, I don't know if you paid attention to a lot of the Facebook comments, but everyone was in pretty much unison to cut Nerlens Noel. So I'm glad that he's got a bench here, something a little bit different. It was quite comical to see everyone saying Noel. There was a couple of people that said to bench Oscar or cut Oscar. So what are your thoughts on this?
When I was looking at this, my thoughts immediately, I jumped to, like, I look at more than just overall skill. Mm-hmm. I look at everything you bring to the team, the energy, the positivity. I mean, of course, I got to start Cat. I mean, there's no way around it. You know what I mean? I got to start Carl Anthony Towns. But when I was looking here at Oscar and Nerlens, I feel like
brown noser.
Hey, funny story. We'll come back to this. The reason I call him Chip Kid is, I'm sitting here going over the syllabus and I hear a bag slightly rustling. I was like, just rip the Band-Aid off, just open them up. He had some Grippos. I was like, tear them up.
Grippos,
I said, it's like people trying to open candy at church on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? You try to go really slow and just rip the Band-Aid off.
Just get it over with, man.
But back to what I was saying. When I got Oscar and Nerlens, I feel like I did not get to see a lot of Noel. You know what I mean? Because if I'm not mistaken, he got hurt.
Yep, knee injury, I think, or a leg, something.
We didn't get to see him play a lot. Now, he's had a pretty good, decent career in the NBA. He's still playing.
Bouncing around, but yep.
I would bench Oscar.
Okay.
I love his heart. I love his just prowess, just the way he goes about things. I like the way he carries himself.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's never afraid to stand up for God, his faith, he just, I think having leadership like that on a team transcends more than just athletic ability.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would go start Cat, bench Oscar, cut Noel. And that's no disrespect to Noel. You gotta cut somebody here.
Yeah.
Somebody seems to agree with me here.
Start Cat, bench Oscar, and cut Noel. See, I'm going to be different. I love Oscar. I love everything he stands for. I love his atmosphere that he brings. But here's my thing: the X's and O's. And I'm going to say again, Mark Lawson. My name is Michael Donald Robert Lawson, and I loved Oscar Sheboy as a Kentucky player. But he's the guy I'm going to cut on this because Noel brings more, I think, to the table on the defensive side as far as rim protector, being able to slide his feet and guard more. He's not a liability on the pick and rolls as much. And he's an exciting player. We didn't get to see much offense, but pick and roll with him was phenomenal with the lobs. Now, here's why I break it down, or my X's and O on this. Oscar Sheboy, in my opinion, I won't say hurt the team because that's going to sound like I'm coming at him. I feel like our team last year got so Oscar
focused on him.
Yeah, that every play went down low, and Oscar would miss and get his own rebound until he made it. And I feel like some of our other players couldn't get into the flow of their own games because they were so determined to make the entry pass to the big, which is great. And don't get me wrong. But then he was a big liability on the pick and roll defense. He didn't know if he should hedge on the pick, and they tried to force the man with the ball to backtrack away from it and double team him basically and get rid of it. Or he didn't know if he should collapse onto the big man, hedge a little bit and recover. So my thing was he would always be in that no man's land. And if you guys are from around Harlan County, Derek Acal, wonderful coach. He used to coach or help coach Cumberland back when I played. And he used to fuss at me because I would play defense in the no man's zone is what he called it. I'm like, what are you talking about? The guy's not much of a perimeter threat, so I'm kind of backing off of him. But he'd always fuss at me because I wasn't playing defense on him to challenge anything, to cause any pressure, and I wasn't helping off to guard anyone else. So like on the block or nothing. He said, you're right there in the way where he can shoot if he wants, he can pass if he wants, and you're not defending anything. You're just standing there. So either come up and be on the offense or back up and be the help. Don't stand right in the middle. And that's what I always would do. Oscar would find himself in that, I'm going to call it their Bermuda Triangle. He wasn't guarding the ball or he wasn't retrieving back to his man. He was in between and never could go anywhere. I'm sorry, just reading a little bit of the comment I kind of agree with Michael, and I was done. And Chris, you're such a genius for agreeing with me. So I'm actually going to cut Oscar on this. And I think
I understand your argument. I really do. I understand why Chris would agree with you. Mm-hmm. I was just going with the whole endurance and loyalty thing as far as, because like Nerlens, he got injured like early on. Mm-hmm. How different of a team would we have been had he been healthy the whole year? I'm not thinking of whole career. And it's kind of hard for me to do that because I'm thinking of what I remember from UK basketball. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. Oscar had some trouble on the defensive side of things. He did have some issues, but like he was the best rebounder in history. Mm-hmm. He had a knack for finding the ball. Almost reminded me of a Dennis Rodman type. You know what I mean? Like mm-hmm. he would scrap, try to go after and get the ball. Not high offensive skill set, not a high defensive skill set, but mm-hmm. that's just, I'm starting Cat anyway. So I'm just saying I got to back up.
Right.
I don't know. I loved his time at UK, even though I feel like we underachieved. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people, and I think I've seen Chris say that he was a solid offensively. I really don't think he was that great offensively. The man just had a desire to get the ball no matter what and score it. Now, the reason why I say it that way is fundamentally, he wasn't, drop step, the correct footwork and everything on that. You got him the ball, and he was just so strong, he had them elbows out and just would move, and the defender had to move. There's many times he missed under the goal on the first move but got the putback because he was so determined. You can't teach that, and I love that about him is that, the desire to keep on going. But I personally think I would cut him and keep Noel for what you can play with that. And of course, Chris even said he thinks we're going to be better without him. And I know that's respectful. Like, we're not saying Oscar was a bad player at all, but I think it's actually going to help our guys open up offensively and drive more with this team. Calipari used to be dribble drive offense. That's all you heard was one and dones, proceed, succeed, or I'm sorry, succeed and proceed. And then it was the dribble drive. You're not hearing that stuff anymore. And I think now we'll get back to guard heavy offense where we can open up that middle a lot. It was clogged tremendously. So, yeah, I'm excited.
He said solid offensively. He's not incredible.
Oh, solid. Awesome. Solid. So, yeah, I'm going to cut Oscar. And I'm glad some of the people are here in the comments that are agreeing with me instead of coming at me. Some of the Facebook posts.
Part of it is, too, is a lot of people remember Oscar because he just left.
Fresh.
You know what I mean? So it's more fresh in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to actually go see Cat play. I met him when he played at UK. So I don't know. I feel like I do feel like Oscar improved offensively in his second year. He developed more of an outside shot than he had in the previous year. And it was a decent outside shot for a big man.
It was ugly, but he had a good touch. Like, it was a soft shot. So, yeah, I agree with you on that.
But, I mean, I'm not going to argue. Like, everybody has their reasons for reason they would start, bench, and cut.
And mine's perfect.
Sure, in your mind, it is.
Absolutely. But there are never any wrong answers on this. And it's going to be your favorites on that. One thing I will say, I don't think Noel was very good offensively either. But while he was there, it was more, hey, let's cause a turnover, let's get a block shot and run with it, you know. And that's where he excelled. If he had to run in the Oscar-style defense or offense, I don't think Noel would have been good either. So I will say that.
And now he's moved around a lot in the NBA, has he not?
Yeah, I think he just signed with the Kings now. But, I mean, he was with Philadelphia for a while, was with Dallas for a while. I want to say
he went to New York for a while.
Yeah, New York, I think, as well. So
I'm trying to look. I used to have one of his autographs. I don't know where it's at, but I'm pretty sure it was he was in a New York uniform. The autograph I had.
Oh yeah.
But he's journeyed around. Then you got like Karl Anthony Towns. He's been with the Timberwolves, you know, since he was drafted.
Yeah, he has. But yeah, I think everyone's at least universal that Cat is the starter. I mean, he used to be the number one for an NBA team until they got Anthony Edwards, and so now he's kind of the number 1B, if you will. So, yeah, Cat had so many different weapons that he brought. Had a good shot, still has the good shot. I think he won the 3-point contest, one All-Star game or All-Star break weekend, and of course he has some moves, dribbling. He's just a liability on defense in the NBA. But yeah, Cat's unanimous, the starter. Noel's the bench. Just going to be honest with you
guys.
Let's
just say I'm always going to be drawn to those big men that can shoot threes.
I wonder why.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
Guys, I'm just going to say it. Mark used to kill me because no matter what, he'd be taller than everyone in all of our pickup games. And hey, I'm trailing. Throw it to me over here for the 3-pointer. But it was knockdown, so got to go with it.
I did it. That's all right. Zabby said he is with the Sacramento Kings as of right now. So
yeah. So right now they've got I think they got Trey Lyles, Fox, Monk, and now Noel. So they're kind of Sacramento Cats.
Who is Willie Cauley with right now? Is he even playing in the NBA? Because he was with the Kings for a minute, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was for a little bit. I want to say he's either with Dallas or I think he's with Dallas now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Mark, honestly, we've been live for 50 minutes. I don't like going past an hour. I don't think we can get into anything else. Kind of short episode here. I'm good with.
I mean, I don't want to sit and just talk in circles either. I like keeping things moving, keeping it fresh. And we love it when you guys are commenting and jumping in here with us. It really helps it go well because, like 100%. We said, we want this to be kind of like a barbershop conversation, just talking about sports.
Where you agree with me always and disagree with Mark constantly, unless he's your teacher, and then
I can take it.
So with that being said, again, shout out to Trent Noah, the Harlan County High School senior, who has, I think we said, 24 Division I offers right now on his table. I'm sure literally they're probably in envelopes all over some table somewhere. You know what? I wonder if anybody like saves all those that they get offers and like makes a big, artwork or something, put it in a frame or something like that. But
I mean,
anyways,
it's got to be special. And he talked to us about it's kind of winding down for the recruiting for the 2024 class. But you never know. He could have another offer pop up somewhere. You never know. Sometimes when the transfer portal opens up and you got a player leave, another school might need to fill a scholarship position. So I think he's still got a shot at getting a few more offers. Of course, I'm biased. I'd love seeing him playing at UK with Reed.
absolutely.
That's just me. But I think he's still got a shot at getting a few more offers. There we go. He just got bonus points. GOAT teacher right there.
He's talking about your goatee is what he meant to put. Goatee.
No, I'm the GOAT.
But I think there's still maybe one or two more offers comes as rosters change, like you were talking about or alluded to as well. Good luck to him this season.
I look forward to calling his games this season.
So thank you again for joining. Thank you guys for being in the comments. Chris, Sebastian, I think someone else was in there too, quite a bit.
Matt,
thank you all so much, Matt, as always. And everyone else, again, just real quick, please go and follow us on all social medias. We are pretty much on all platforms right now. We do not have a TikTok. We're debating a TikTok. But
I don't know if we're that hip yet, man.
I don't think we're going to be doing some kind of like dances or anything where we're trying to get views. Go and follow us.
I mean, if that would increase the views, I might have to bust one out.
Hey, there you go. Get some of your kids to do it. That'll work. But with that being said, guys, underneath my name for not you podcasters, but ones that are at least live, you can see Linktree, Catch Chat Pod. You can go to that and find all of our social media links and take you straight there to those. You can follow me pretty much on all social platforms at MDLawson00. I appreciate everything that you all subscribe, you follow, and comment with us. We do appreciate it. We got to do a dance.
We got to do a dance now. We're going to have to eventually. We'll have to work something up.
What we ought to do is do some kind of, I'm going to say, quote, gambling where we do picks or whatever, and then the loser has to do something. Of course, September 2nd or something like that, I think is the first Kentucky football game of the season. Maybe we wager some kind of, I don't know, bet first person to score, or we could do this. First touchdown's a pass. You lose, and if it's a run, I win. Like I said,
I like how you're taking the run. I like how you're automatically taking the run.
That's right. So it sounds good to me.
Won't let me down.
Oh yeah. What do you think, Chris? If they score a touchdown on the ground, I win. If they pass a touchdown, Mark wins, and we have to do a TikTok dance or a dance on here, or we could shave our heads. Actually, pretty much shaved, anyways. There we go. So I think that's what we got to do. Are you good with that, Mark?
We'll figure something out.
Okay, I like this. Where can they follow you on social media? On Facebook, and that's it. We know
on
old school.
Formerly Twitter or X. It's at mlawson15. You can actually jump on, Facebook. Just Mark Lawson. Just look for me. It's me, and a picture of me and the legendary Mr. Bill Ellis calling a game together. That's pretty much. I do have an Instagram. I think it's Big Daddy Lawson. Like I said last time. It's random, but that's my Xbox name, so that's what I like to use for that. So,
all right. With that being said, guys, so again, thank you all so much for joining us. As I said last time, I got 3 things to end the show on: love God, love others, and love Kentucky sports. Y'all have a good day.
God bless.